Hi, I'm Diva from Musical Hell, and I know the score. With his highly stylized filming and a tendency towards grand, melodramatic plots, Baz Luhrmann is one of those directors who generates a lot of polarized reaction. Personally, I find some of his films very entertaining and some not so much. But one thing I really like about them is how the music is utilized. The soundtracks to his movies tend to be eclectic and anachronistic, but always enhance the story in memorable and sometimes surprisingly effective ways. And I've been curious to see if his new movie, The Great Gatsby, will follow in that tradition. Like Moulin Rouge, Gatsby uses modern music to reflect on a period story. On one hand, the parallel here is particularly appropriate, as F. Scott Fitzgerald's tale of idle rich living an extravagant lifestyle and creating huge messes without any concern for others can easily be used to comment on modern concerns of economic inequality. On the other, the jazz sound of the 1920s is so distinctive that the era is actually named for it. So it does seem odd to replace that with the stylings of Jay-Z and Beyoncé. As is often the case with Luhrmann, it all comes down to one question. Does the execution justify his peculiar vision? Let's find out. The first singles released were promising, with lyrics and moods which suit the story remarkably well. Lana Del Rey's Young and Beautiful is particularly striking, with an aching vocal line over an intense, slowly building orchestra and haunting piano motif. The repeated insistence of the chorus sounds more desperate than assured, echoing the story's themes of obsession and chasing after dreams.
Will you still love me when I got nothing but my aching soul? I know you will, I know you will, I know that you will.
Florence and the Machine's Over the Love contains even more direct references to the novel, most notably the green light which serves as one of Gatsby's primary symbols. While this song didn't stick with me as much as the Del Rey single, I do love the way it crescendos until it's on the verge of spinning entirely out of control, which is a fitting metaphor for the arc of the story. The soundtrack also pays tribute to the music of the period, and the results are something of a mixed bag. I like the work of the Bryan Ferry Orchestra, especially their instrumentals on Crazy in Love, which not only has an appropriate swing sound to it, but in places evokes the feel of a vintage vinyl recording. The muted trumpet creates an immediate sense of setting and is well juxtaposed with the modern-edged vocals.
I look and stare so deep in your eyes. I touch on you more and more every time. When you leave, I'm begging you not to go. Call your name 2-3 times in a row.
On other tracks, the combination of influences isn't as effective. The way A Little Party Never Killed Nobody bounces between jazz and EDM is so close to the line between interesting and silly that I'm still not entirely sure which side it lands on.
Right here, right now is all we got. A little party never killed nobody. So we gon' dance until we drop.
I didn't care much for Jay-Z's $100 bill either, which I felt was a bit too on the nose with the modern parallels.
You see my kids on the weekend. Carter, New Kennedy, no ordinary Joe, you will remember me. No prohibition for my coalition. Colin Powell, general admission.
But on the whole, I like the soundtrack as a standalone album, with an interesting combination of modern and period styles and several haunting tracks. But how does it all play on screen? Within the context of the movie, the music is very effective, heightening the mood and creating a growing sense of desperation and impending doom, and the Young and Beautiful theme makes for a gorgeous leitmotif. The score represents one of the movie's strongest points, along with the stylish production and Leonardo DiCaprio's charismatic, tragically flawed Gatsby. The problem with The Great Gatsby lies more in the fact that Fitzgerald's prose is very difficult to translate to film. It becomes rather ponderous when you put it on screen. Also, Luhrmann is a romantic at heart, and try as he might, he can't help but make Gatsby's hedonistic world and single-minded pursuit of Daisy look a lot more appealing than they should. But once again, he has the courage of his convictions, and I have to give him points for effort, even if it doesn't always hit the mark. I'm Diva, I know the score, and now so do you.
Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I got nothing but my aching soul?
Hi folks, Diva here with a special update. Those of you who watched my Know the Score on A Monster in Paris will remember that I lamented the film did not have a United States home video release. Well, thanks to the good people at Shout Factory, that's no longer the case. The movie is now available to American audiences on DVD, Blu-ray, and Netflix. So, thank you to Shout Factory for bringing this cute little movie across the pond, and now that you can find it by legitimate means, I once again recommend you give it a look. It's a fun story with some good music and worth checking out.